Hey, Teddy K here for the Best Buy blog, and in this video we're taking a look at the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip6, Samsung's latest flip phone, available at Best Buy now, and one loaded with AI features. I don't have the phone with me because Samsung wanted it back, so by the time I got to shoot this, I wasn't able to keep the phone, but I was able to test it, and that's the most important part. This phone, the Galaxy Z Flip6, is so alike from the Flip 5 that if you were to put them together, side by side, they'd look almost exactly the same. You'll notice a difference because there's a matte back this time on the Flip 6. Good move, Samsung. And also that the crease, when you flip the screen open, the crease is not quite as noticeable. It's they've been able to flatten it out just a little bit. So those are some of the visual things that are different, but the screens are the same, not only the sizes, but the exact same panels. The internals are very similar as well. And despite the fact that there's a bit of a bigger battery in there and a more efficient processor, the performance is not going to be radically different, but it's because of the AI features, the Galaxy AI features that Samsung has introduced, that things get a little bit interesting here. Make no mistake, this is the focus of this device. It's not so much that it flips open, that's old hat at this point, it is the AI stuff. So what can this do? We know about a lot of these features because they were previously introduced in the Galaxy S24 Ultra and just generally the S24 series. So things like interpreter mode or call assist, transcript assist, messaging even. So you can have some AI assistance when it comes to messaging, so that rather than you typing out the full message, it'll give you it'll just recognize your tonality and your conversational style and then apply it to a message. Now, it doesn't send it without you saying so, but you get the idea. These AI assisted features very much set the tone for the whole device, and it includes even for image generation. So if you want to generate an image, there's a lot that you can do there too. I want to focus on that a little bit because it's where things get kind of interesting and compelling, but at the same time also puzzling. So the way this works basically is that you can take a photo. So if you take a photo of yourself, like a selfie or something, it can be anything, but mainly the focus here is on selfies. So you can add a generative AI element. So if you draw a hat on yourself or something like that, or you turn your image into, let's say, a 3D cartoon, a comic book, a watercolor, a sketch, something like that. It'll generate that image for you and then you can save it. Samsung will apply a watermark to that to indicate that it is an AI generated image. It's interesting, it works, but the results are sometimes baffling simply because in my case, I was generating images from my own photo and my own selfie that didn't even look like me, in my opinion. And it was multiple times too. The other part is that this is primarily aimed at photos of people. So if you were to try to stylize a photo, for instance, using AI, and you shot a great vista or a skyline or something like that, and you wanted to see what you can do artistically with it, you're kind of limited in that sense because AI is not really going to recognize it that way. What you can do is you can draw things or doodle things and then create AI generated images from that. This is actually pretty cool and can generate some interesting results. I feel like it's the kind of thing that you could have a lot of fun doing with a child. Like if you have a son or daughter, you probably could have a lot of fun doing this. But again, sometimes the results are going to be weird, right? Like I tried to draw a dog once and it generated a table. So it is hit or miss, but I recognize these are early days for these AI features, so it's going to take some time to figure things out. Now, what it's not going to take long to figure out is the camera. I'm just going to briefly mention here, this camera largely shoots exactly the same as the Flip 5. There is very little difference, some software tweaking for sure, and the fact that you can shoot at full resolution, 50 megapixels with the main camera, but other than that, we're talking about the same hardware here. So for the most part, the results that you'll get with this phone are going to be very similar with the other one, with the previous one. So I was neither impressed nor really disappointed. I was really more kind of surprised that there's just no change. It just would have been nice to see some sort of an upgrade on the camera side, but unfortunately, I don't think you're going to really feel that, especially if you're trying to go from a Flip 5 to a Flip 6. Briefly about battery life. Yes, battery life is better, but only marginally better. You will go through a full day. This has always been a challenge with the flip phones, but Samsung has managed to make it a little more efficient. I think the Snapdragon processor has a lot to do with that. And so you'll probably last the day, but don't be surprised if you have to charge at the end of the night so that you're ready to go for the next day. Look, all the AI stuff, from interpreter mode to getting a live translation while you're on a call, as long as the language is supported, These are cool things that can be useful and practical, but they also have to be workable. They have to be reliable. And that's where I think things are going to be a little bit tricky. So it's going to require some patience when it comes to using these features, simply because they're just not polished yet. They work, but then at times they don't. And they don't work as reliably. Like, for example, you may want a summary of a lecture or an interview, and you may want to hone in on a specific element of that lecture or interview, but the AI has a hard time recognizing what it is you want. It'll give you a general summary, but it may not be able to summarize a specific part or to even isolate that specific part for you. Those are the kind of things that I think we'll see later on, but for now, what we're seeing is basically a stepping stone, I think, to something a little bit bigger. We'll have to see what Samsung comes up with. And that's my review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6. You can check out more about it by just clicking that link below. For the Best Buy blog, I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.